If you would please rise and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome. To mention a few things, if everyone could please silence their cell phones and their watches. Our meetings are public and recorded, and this is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes. For best sound quality, please lean into these microphones to speak. And Happy New Year. It's the beginning of the fiscal year for us, so yay. So with that, we will call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. and first item is roll call.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Councilmember Hebert.
Here.
Councilmember Mueller.
Here.
Councilmember Conover.
Here.
Councilmember Demond.
Here.
Councilmember Neboy is absent. Councilmember Dojan.
Here.
Councilmember Peel.
Here.
Okay, we have quorum. First item, we'll call for a motion to approve the financial statements in your packets.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting starts with Parsons.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Motion carries. Next up, I'll call for a motion to approve the estimated and listed bills you find in your packets.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting with Hebert.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Okay, motion carries. Is there consideration of any additional bills from anyone? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Correspondence and public and guest comments. Okay, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items A through Y that I will read. A is approval of city council meeting minutes of April 6th and special April 20th. B is approval of FY27 budget and capital plans. C, approval of annual appropriation ordinance number 1580. D, approval of $500 scholarship sponsorship of the Lower Kaskaskia Stakeholders Inc. barge trip event on September 11th. E, approval to buy a 1/2 page advertisement in the Port de Chartres Rendezvous booklet at $500. F, approval for Mayor Haba and Jill Landgraf to Southern Illinois Leadership Breakfast on June 2nd in Carbondale, not to exceed $145. G, approval to increase finance officer salary by 6.54%, administrative officer salary 6.76 after the CPI wage increase, effective with the first full pay period in May. H, approval Tyler Cleveland to attend Elias WMD qualification / Southern Illinois Regional SWAT team training May 20th, cost to be reimbursed by Elias. I, approval of fire cam quote for Spotlight speaker drone, not to exceed 22,000 pending approval of the annual budget. J, approval of Axion Enterprise quote for 2 additional tasers not to exceed 14,000. K, approval of Glock Inc. quote for 9 Glock pistols and 9 holsters and tactical LED lights from Ray O'Haron as presented not to exceed 11,000. L, approval for City Attorney Cooper to draft a revised golf cart / UTV ordinance. M, approval of resolution 26-003 for street closure for the 2026 Fireman's Parade. N, approval of request from Fire Department for the 2026 Parade and Picnic. O, approval to remove outstanding balance as determined from the water sewer account for Matt Wagner at 1221 Flint Street. P, approval to advertise for laborer position. Q, approval to end Derek Allen's 6-month probationary period effect April 6th. R, approval of SN Partners quote for new John Deere Z970R 60-inch mower with trade-in of the 2022 John Deere Z970R not to exceed 9,000. S, approval equipment service company quote for removal and replacement of a 10-foot HD plow with commercial mount installed not to exceed $21,150. T, approval of Woody's Municipal Supply Company quote for a spreader stand not to exceed $5,022. U, approval of Green Mount Road Harley Davidson quote for a 2-door Polaris Ranger of 1,000 not to exceed $25,800. B, authorize approval to advertise for bids for the concrete project at Rock Hill Drive and Theodore Lane. W, authorize approval to advertise for bids for sidewalk extension project at East Market Street and Lockwood Drive. X, approval to accept Carver Kellerman Stein's resignation as part-time meter reader. Y, approval to release minutes September 15th, 2025, those executive session minutes, what we're speaking of. So we had a busy set of committee meetings. Does anyone want any of those items pulled and discussed separately this evening?
I would like to see you pulled off of it.
You just think that
Yeah, you approval of the Green Mountain Road, Harley Davidson quote.
you, okay, so you would like you pulled off and discussed separately then under Public Works?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll make that note on my agenda. Anything else? Okay, so I'm hearing no other changes. I will entertain a motion for consent items A through Y less U.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Okay, roll call voting then starts with Mueller.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey,
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Okay, motion carries. We are up to reports and we'll start off with finance.
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay, is there anything coming out of personnel?
Yes, Mayor. We need to settle that with the city employees on a list of issues. Send them out to the rest of the aldermen. We will meet at the next committee meeting, discussing the appropriation. That's it.
Anything from public health and safety?
Nothing.
Okay, next up, anything, we've got a couple items from cultural.
Yeah, we got a couple things here. I got a request here for, looks like Jenna Allen, to approve an inflatable bounce house at the Rats Park. I would make a motion to accept this. Looks like everything's in order here.
We have a
I'll make a
motion. No, we have a motion. We have a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second for the Allen's request for Rats Park, to have a bounce house. Any other further discussion? So roll call, let's see, we have a motion second, so roll call with Hunnevit.
Hey.
Hey,
hey,
Hey, hey,
Hey.
Okay, motion carries.
got another request here from Commonwealth to request, hang some ribbons for mental health awareness, in the month of May. Looks like it's down, saw that on the Route 3 in Maine. It's like the Boy Scouts are gonna be involved in doing that, so everything looks in order here. I would call for a motion to approve that.
Making a motion.
Call for a motion.
so moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Commonwealth to hang ribbons for mental health awareness in May. Any further discussion? Roll call with John.
Hey,
Hey, hey,
Hey. Hey.
Okay, motion carries. I think that's it for Commonwealth. Okay, next up is Public Works, there's a few items.
First item is approval of Ryan Schlegler's step pay increase to current electric apprentice 2 pay rate. I'd like to make that a motion.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Ryan Schlegler's step pay increase. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting with Dojon.
hey,
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 Hey. Hey.
Okay, motion carries.
next item is a proposal from Missouri Machinery for a new lift station, not in the amount of $11,947.
Yeah, it's just some check valve work, the check valves are filled out there, so just some maintenance work similar to what we've done on some of the other stations to keep them up to speed.
I'd like to make that a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Hey.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the pump shop proposal. Any further discussion on that? Roll call starts with Beal.
hey,
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 Hey.
hey,
hey,
Okay, motion carries.
and next item is the approval of resolution 26-004, the intergovernmental agreement for membership in the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. I'd like to make that a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the resolution 26-004. Any further discussion on that?
is that an annual thing? Yeah.
The resolution and the agreement, no, there would just be work prorated on the fee. It's $100 annually, but it's prorated, and then they bill us in January, I think, each year.
This is a fairly new program that we just stepped into.
This is just a happy resolution, just, that we're joining the Public Works Network.
Well, I know that we've approved.
We approved it, I forgot, I inadvertently missed these when we approved of joining. So it was formally approved because I needed a roll call vote for the resolution to be able to turn into the public work, the organization.
Any other discussion on that? If not, roll call voting, Conservative Parsons.
Hey.
Okay, motion carries.
Next item is you under consent agenda, the Polaris 1000 from Green Mountain. But all as a separate discussion.
Yeah, I had that removed. I know we discussed it briefly in committee. I just don't know. How much I feel like we'll use it for what we discussed and. I don't know if I really feel like we need it or don't need it. I'd like to get a little more clarification on what we'd actually use it for and how we landed on a quote from Green Mountain Road and Harley Davidson. Rather than, we buy a lot of our stuff from Novi's, they sell Polaris, correct? How do we?
I don't know.
I don't believe they sell.
I just, they don't anymore. I don't know. I just don't know how much we would really use it for $26,000 is my question. I mean, they're the size of a pickup truck and I don't know how.
Like I said, currently we've been borrowing at times the sports complex one, but when we. For like the leak survey in the gas department, we have to each year. Do the leak survey on the steel gas main. We have 47 miles of main in town, so in each year we have to do a quarter of the town, we have to do the downtown district annually. And we have to do the steel main annually. So that allows them to be able to get through. Without having to walk, they can go through and get to those areas out there, get it done a lot faster. Save on some time. Also too, could be utilized to where we could use it for spraying. Put the sprayer on the back, be able to maneuver around some areas easier. As you're aware, when we try and spray, we have it set up on a truck. Well, if it's been too wet, we can't get trucks in some of these areas with a smaller equipment with a lighter weight. We should be able to get in there and do that a little more often. Also too, wanted to work on where we could include a snowplow on that to be able to utilize it for smaller areas. I know we try and do like with the fire department and stuff like that, trying to get the backhoe in there with the plow on it, we might be able to get those areas, some sidewalk, different areas, so. There's a lot of different uses, with a dump bed, parks can use it to pick up brush, trees. Have, need to mulch, run back and forth to different job sites, so. That's like what the walking trail, so.
Josh, I know it's kind of putting you on the spot. Do you remember there was a significant price difference with the other quotes you had?
The other two quotes I got, one from Kubota and the other one from Bobcat, were around 35,000 each.
Substantial difference, okay.
Was them for Polaris's?
No, I went to different ones, we have. Kubota's the one that the sports complex has, so we got a quote from them for that model. I asked for all the same equipment on every quote. To make sure we were comparing apples to apples, so that's what we come up with was.
So how often do we borrow the sports complex?
Several times throughout the year, for sure, but like I said, we have. But if we were trying to do things, so. It's just something was added into the capital plan several years ago. To start funding for, and this year it came up, so this is why I'm requesting approval of that.
Only thing I'd say, I think there's a lot of, there's several Polaris dealers within a 100-mile radius, so we've actually got 3 quotes of Polaris XP 1000 Rangers.
Well, the Bobcat wasn't a Polaris, it was the Bobcat brand, then it was a Kubota brand, so I got 3 different. Quotes, 3 different companies, but quoted the same equipment.
Or the same.
Same, like, wanted the plow, electric dump bed, all that,
Yeah.
Requested to quote the same add-ons, if you will, for it.
Just different brands.
Just different brands, yes, sir.
Okay, and with the attachments and everything, do we have a sprayer for it or are we getting?
We have a sprayer already, it goes on a truck, but this would fit in, there, and we could utilize it for that.
So. I'm still struggling with how we arrived at Throwing money in capital plan, the money's there this year, so we just go out and bid for one and. There was no approval to bid, there was no,
Well, per what council had passed. Finance guidelines, if something was in the capital plan, I can actually go out for bids without council approval, but I'd have to bring it to you for approval. If we were to move forward.
Yeah, we haven't spent any money at this point, we just gather data. Well, we haven't spent any taxpayer money to this point.
it just seemed like. All of a sudden. We come to a meeting and we get bids for a. That thing. It's like, okay. I understand we've been putting money in the capital plan. There's money in that plan that, it can be changed and moved to something else, it can be. Different piece of equipment if we need.
I guess that's. Some of my reservation is I've never heard until right now, like we know it was in the capital plan, we have. Lawnmowers, everything, and all kinds of things in the capital plan, but I've never really heard the need for one of these. Until just recently, the last meeting with all the different attachments. And we talked about spraying, but there's a lot of times that we ask to get stuff sprayed, at the parks and everywhere else, and it's. Not getting done, will this help facilitate in that, and we have the people with all the applicator license to be able to spray when we need it?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, it would help.
So what did we, with the gas line inspection, I understand we've got to do that. And we've been using the sports complex, you said, what did we do before that?
They would have to walk it. And it would take. Significantly longer. Taking away from other things they could be doing.
Are you gonna get the plow on this, or are you gonna be using this for sidewalks and walkways?
But sidewalks depends, certain areas, like I said, we gotta watch because most.
But you will be using the plow as well, right?
What, excuse me?
You'll be using the plow for snow.
That's what I had requested to get that added on there to utilizing that for different areas, yes. Rick Dashner building, the back parking lot. Could possibly help with that in some of the parking lanes if it's a lighter, with. Rather than trying to run the back, or you have a plow that can put, so there's.
You have a salt spreader that would fit in the back of it or not?
Not one that would fit in it, no.
So,
But we have, if something like that, we have the smaller areas, the trucks can get into the parking lots, we certain areas, and then we do have a walk behind spreader, we would have to do. The those small areas where we would use that.
so we're just going to add another piece of equipment, is that correct?
That's my request.
Because at some point, like we've got this street tractor, which I understand it's been there forever. But we spent quite a bit of money on the maintenance on that thing again this year.
On the what?
The street tractor, I don't remember what it was. There was some money spent on that on maintenance, do we just keep adding equipment and still repairing the old stuff and, at some point, do we, okay, you need a new piece of equipment, but
Are you talking about the recent purchase for the street tractor?
yeah.
That was a blade that we used for when we were blading snow, the blade was. Held down, so we got a new cutter blade.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So now we're gonna have a street tractor we can push snow with, we're gonna have a side by side we can push snow with. My point is, do we really need to keep adding equipment, or at some point, do we get rid of some of the older stuff and buy a new piece of equipment?
I have other stuff like that in the plan as well, this was just something we had put in there for a piece of equipment that we could utilize. I think to help out the department. And to expedite projects, get back and forth between projects faster. Just, ultimately trying to. Get the department to where we have some equipment that, helps us.
I understand that, I'm just, you're missing my point. At what point do we quit buying new pieces of equipment? And keeping the old stuff and repairing the old stuff and still using it? Is there really a need to have if we would buy this side by side, is there a need to have that street trim?
Yes. Cause we use that to pull the bush off. And for mowing.
Answers my question.
I would think your side by side probably gonna be more useful. With the spraying than anything, spraying and doing the gas lines, because spraying, you can make it a one person job then. Right? You don't have to have two people, one person. driving.
Yeah, it's like, otherwise you're trying to drive, you know, if you get off the road on the sidewalk, you could, you know, you're.
I mean, I guess. You know, would we be beneficial to designate that street tractor as. A tractor for the bush hog, and that's it, don't worry about buying plows or blades or. You know, things of that nature.
I mean. If we do that, then you could also, I mean, I do have the street tractor in the capital plan, so then whenever, if we were to go replace something, then we could look at. You could potentially look at different type of model. Or something. To that, to keep it for something you would use for mowing.
We've had
instead,
that
so.
tractor forever, I don't know if there's any value to it or not, probably.
So. Kind of like what we have with tobacco, it just kept nickel and diming us to death for a while, this one, it's going for right now, but like I said, it is in the capital plan. That, you know, should something come up that we need to do replacements. And ultimately, most of the equipment that we have been getting has been replacements of what we've been. Getting, or what we, not getting, what we've had, what we have. It was, obviously, I'll use the vac, we had a vac, we replaced it, we had a jetter, we replaced it, you know, the trucks, replacing the trucks, so it's not, we're. Really, the only other
No, I,
new that I think we got. Would be the mini excavator, which was several years ago. Was new.
I don't think I disagree with functionality of it and. Say, borderline need for it, right, but we're sharing now, is there a sharing option to where we?
But once summer hits, it's gonna be usable, I mean, they use it, and so. We're working around their schedule, and you know, it's nice if we have the opportunity where we need to go do something, we don't have to. No, if we can't do it, it's not available.
$5,000.
I mean, it could be, like I said, utilized with the parks, to help with trash cans, it could be used at special events. America 250 event, if you need something, you know, now granted, obviously, we want a city employee to be driving. That, of course, we're not gonna let a volunteer typically hop in the city vehicle. But you have it for special events, you have it for, if the fire department would need it during the fire's picnic for something else, for different things, you do. Just, you know, I think there's lots of uses for it.
So,
Wanted to talk about it.
so no, I said. We'll put it up for vote, I guess, so, open there. I guess I'll make a motion. And we'll discuss it.
Okay, we have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, to purchase, a two-door Polaris Ranger 1000. From Green Mountain Road, Harley Davidson, not to exceed 25,800. Any further discussion on that before we vote? Okay, guess what? Giward is up for the first vote.
Hey,
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 Okay, motion carries. I think that's all for Public Works tonight then?
Yes.
Okay, zoning doesn't look like there's anything there.
No.
Okay, recreational facilities has an item.
Rip Rap at Rats Park.
This was something that would add, working with the mayor, that added into the budget. To rip wrap behind the new retaining wall there off the parking lot. As you can see on that, the other side of it is stuff that was added into the capital plan to try and rip wrap areas along that creek. As well, this would just be the total for $9,200 would be to rip wrap behind that retaining wall. Put weed mat down, rip wrap behind it. Make it look a little nicer in there, keep that dressed up since we did that work there, keep it looking nice down there.
Okay.
we have drainage to that or anything? I'm just curious,
Whatever they put behind the wall, because
there's one there already.
that was
There's
the
top
stuff
of
that
it.
put the rocky stuff behind the wall, that thing can daylight out. So,
um,
go ahead.
I don't have any problem doing that, from day one, I said we need to do something with that. Getting it, but it was my understanding when we put the wall in that. The city employees were just gonna rip wrap that as they had. And nothing was ever done with it, now all of a sudden we got.
I didn't understand it as that, I'm sorry, I didn't know that's what. You know, so that's why we talked, when I talked to them, so it's,
Rip wrapping something we normally handle.
Wait,
It's just hauling and dumping.
it's just haul and dump and take the excavator and. Take it out.
But the, you mat down and stuff first, though.
Yeah, you talking about putting reading that in. Yeah, no, I don't know how much it would cost. The rip wrap would cost, you know, I'm sure it's a small portion. What was it, almost $10,000?
I don't know what, I'd have to go back and look and see what our last load cost.
I mean,
I just
we can kick it to committee.
say it's the,
I mean, if it saves us $5,000, you know, or whatever, just for us to haul some rip wrap and put it down. You know, we're gonna have a side by side we can spray it with, so we're good.
You wanna hold up, I can put numbers together, bring it back to committee.
Yeah, we'll table that one.
Okay, so we'll table that for the, well, you think you have that for May committees, maybe?
I'll put something together.
Okay,
Thank you.
target May committees on it. Okay, so that's recreational facilities. We don't have anything under executive session minutes review. Planning commission, next up.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it's just the ordinance number 1581 for the increase to $300 for the planning committee, or commission hearing fee increase. Just to help cover costs, I make a motion to accept ordinance number 1581.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
sorry,
Okay, motion and second on ordinance number 1581. Any further discussion on that? And roll call kicks off with Mueller.
hey,
Hey.
Hey,
Motion carries. I think that's all for planning commission.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll shift to economic development commission, and I'll punt on that one for the evening. In your packet, there is a Redwood facade grant program packet. And that is from Heartland Holdings LLC, more known to us as Thrivent Financial. This went through Economic Development Commission, I believe was recommended by them that we would approve and advance this. Do you have any questions about this packet? There is also a rendering on the last page.
yeah, is everybody's copy posting?
A little bit,
Yes,
That's what we're on here.
yes,
we're just testing you, Bill.
yeah, the first two pages, it is slightly,
Okay, so if the total project cost of 46 and they want 15.
that's our maximum, that's what we max out. Yeah, we have a limitation on our program.
Yeah, I mean, I wish the whole side, you know, like that, would be great.
So I would entertain a motion for this facade grant application.
The move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the facade grant. Any further discussion? Roll call voting with Donovan.
Hey,
Hey.
hey,
Okay, motion carries. Next up in your packet is a flyers from Randolph County Startup. This was also recommended that came out of the Economic Development Commission. And Jill, you're gonna have to remind me what sort of sponsorship level that they recommended.
So it is a 3-year sponsorship that they recommended, that would be $1,000 each year for the next 30 years.
So that's a $1,000 scholarship per year for a 3-year commitment.
Correct.
So I would entertain a motion for that.
someone,
We have a motion? A second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a
Maybe
motion.
you have a question, was this, I know this program's been around for a while, is this something we've done in the past?
We have not done a sponsorship for this in the past. Other communities in other counties, their cities have been sponsors. This is the first time it's come across my desk that we've been asked to sponsor it. So it was brought through to the Economic Development Commission. We have a business promotion budget item that we have plenty of funds to cover this, and so they thought that it was a great idea to invest in the future entrepreneurs and build up the program to keep it going, so.
This county one,
So for Randolph County, our sponsorship would be for Randolph County startup, and that includes
But there's
Randolph.
no guarantee the funds would stay in Renton.
No, the funds are for the program countywide. So the county, any high school students from Randolph County applies to this program. And those that are accepted then get into the class. It's traditionally between 15 to 20 kids.
How many people do Redwood have involved? I know there's a, sure,
Redbud had no, well, Kurt, I think your son was part of the program at one point, so. Redbud I know has Brooke Roman. There was Addie Smallman.
There was 3 to
I
5.
was gonna say there's.
but we get pretty good representation.
Yes,
That
a
one's
percentage of
always-
the class.
Purpose always had one.
Okay,
And then Bill, one of the handouts actually lists the current investors in the package. Okay, we had our motion, we had our second, any other discussion? Roll call with Demond.
Hey,
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 okay,
Okay, motion carries. That's all from economic development, so we'll shift to Parks and Recreation Committee.
thank you, Mayor. The first item is authorization to hire a part-time laborer.
Oh, you like I can,
Yeah, if you would give us a rundown, please.
ultimately, we've always had 2 employees, but we've always, the mayor's budget, when she does the budget's for 2 employees, for 2 at 1,999 hours. So obviously, we're just shy of 2,000 hours total. I was wanting to see what this has been kind of, discussed maybe a little bit in the past. Having a third person to kind of help out, do some things, keep things going if one of them's gone. Still maintain to where we wouldn't exceed the 1,998 hours between the 3 employees. So it would just be adding the additional employee, but we would maintain under what the current budget is with 1,998 hours.
Okay. With that, I would make the motion to hire Mason Voss to fill the part-time parks labor position. Pending physical and drug testing. At the current pay rate, 1703.
That is the new, that, just so you're aware, Kyle, that is the new pay rate with the 2.7%. Just because I figured by the time this got done, that's what the pay rate would be, so that's why I put it in there, even though as of today, that is not the pay rate, but when the employee would start, that is what the pay rate would be.
Perfect, thank you. Make that motion.
second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to hire Parks part-time laborer Mason Voss at 1703. That's also pending physical and drug screening. Any other discussion on that? Roll call with Dojon.
Hey,
hey,
Okay, motion carries.
the next item would be replacing committee members on the Parks and Rec board. We have resignation from Ryan Cadella. His letter here, I would make a motion to accept his resignation. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept Ryan Cadella's resignation from Parks and Rec Committee. Any further discussion on that? Roll call with Peel.
Hey.
hey,
Motion carries.
The next item is to accept Dylan Caseberg's appointment to the Parks and Rec board. I would make that a motion.
second,
We have we have a motion and a second to accept Dylan Caseberg's appointment to the Parks and Rec Committee. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting with Parsons.
hey,
Hey.
Okay, motion carries. I think that takes us through the reports. Okay, next page, no old business, so we will skip to new business. And Bill, would you want to do our traditional omnibus motion?
I lost it, I couldn't find it. Okay, I move that we hold an omnibus vote for agenda items 11. A, 19 and B. 12.
Okay, we have a motion. We'll anonymous vote for agenda items 11A, 19 and B, 1 and 2. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Roll call vote on that, don't we then? So roll call voting starts with Hebert.
hey,
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, then I move to approve agenda items 11A. 1 through 9 and B 1 through 2.
I have a motion, how about a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve agenda items 11A 1 to 9 and B 1 and 2. Any further discussion on that? Roll call with Mueller.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey,
Okay, motion carries. So that takes us all the way to the third page, item C. Just note in your packets, there is a standing committee, lists all the standing committees. It lists the committees, commissions and boards, and also public notice about all of our meeting times is included in that. So. Like I said, next special note of the annual notice of public meetings that we will be publishing in the newspaper. That's item C. On to the civility pledge that's included in your packets. IML has adopted the civility pledge, which simply reads, in the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we may each have different ideas for achieving that objective. So keep that in mind as we're conducting our meetings throughout this next year. Next item is the May calendar. So, John, sirens tomorrow morning. Parks and Rec will meet here I believe on Wednesday evening. Library board meets next week on the 14th. We're back here on the 18th for committee meetings at 6 p.m. Planning Commission, I think, has a busy night planned on the 19th. Please make note, City Hall and Utility Plan is closed for Memorial Day on the 25th. And Jill, I don't know with Rodney out if he's planning any sort of economic development. Do you think he is? Okay, so plan on Economic Development Commission on the 27th. Any other changes, additions, anything to the calendar? Okay, we'll move on. Any other comments from the Alderman this evening? Or one thing I wanted, since it's Happy New Year, I wanted to pause for a moment. I added up all the elected officials, including Joanne, myself, and our treasurer. We've got over 80 years of combined experience with this organization, so I think that's noteworthy. And I'd like to call out 17 years of that is sitting over here in the blue shirt. So Bill, thank you for 17 years of service. The leadership team has a combined a little over 65 years of service. And I'm going to call out John Brittingham for over 23 going on 24 years of service. So thank you, everybody. That's a lot of knowledge when we put all that together. So other than that, I think we've accomplished everything this evening, and I can call for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.